Hi everybody, I'm Jack and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. The topic of the day is healthy living for kids and teens. I was thinking about this recently and I said, oh, this will be a fun subject to tackle, seeing as I'm a 50-year-old guy that's never had kids. But I don't know, I watch parents around their kids sometime. I read online about, people that have gone to our lifestyle and how they're dealing with their kids. And I just might have a few tricks and a little bit different perspective that might give you a few tips on how to make your kids a little bit healthier. Get them going in the right direction. Anyway, I've made a few notes here, more or less just like bullet points, because old Jack can't remember stuff. Okay, here's like my first thought, and think about this as I'm asking you. What are you doing to lay the groundwork for your kids? What do you do with your kids if you've come to this healthier lifestyle, if you're eating vegan, if you're eating raw vegan, if you're just eating more plant-based whole food diet? What are you doing with the kids? Now, like I said, like I was thinking, let's be realistic. You're probably not going to influence your kids to become vegan, much less raw vegan. I mean, really, seriously, have any of you really had a success in converting them over? I'm sure a few people have, but what I'm getting at is you have a more realistic chance of planting the seed in your kids while they're early, so that will express itself later down the road. I know with me, and I can only relate it this way, like I've told you before, I was an overweight kid. I ate a lot of bad food, made a lot of bad choices for many years, but I had that fruits and vegetables thing in my background. Even though I was overweight as a kid, I guess I'd eat anything I could get my hands on. I was always exposed to a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables, and there really wasn't too much that I wouldn't eat. So if you've got these kids, it's like focus a little bit more on just getting them to eat more fruits and vegetables. That's the beginning, in my opinion. Talk to your kid like a person. This isn't just about this lifestyle or this food or anything. I see so many people and you're like, dude, do you lose some sort of a coolness or hipness or just being able to communicate without sounding like a parent? I see people talking to their kids all the time, and I'm just sitting there going, I don't jump in. I don't jump in anybody's way they parent a kid, but I'm like, yeah, that kid's not paying a bit of attention to you, and you're not going to make any changes in him like that. Don't nag. I don't like to be nagged. You don't like to be nagged. So your kids probably don't like to be nagged either. And I've noticed one thing with kids are very stubborn, they're very resistant. And I've found that the more you nag a kid to do something, the less likely they are to do it in the first place. So, give up those expectations of, maybe they will become a vegan, maybe they'll become raw vegan, maybe they'll become extremely conscious of what they eat. But while they're young, just try to shape their minds a little bit. Give them a background, give them a base. Let them see you eating lots of fruits and vegetables. Let them, not make them, but encourage them to try. I'd almost say make them try. I had an uncle, and this was just food in general. My uncle had a rule when you went to his house. He didn't make a kid eat anything, but you were going to try it. He didn't put up with that whole, I don't like this, and how kids being kids. The rule was you were going to try it. If you didn't like it, you didn't have to eat it. And I think that can be a good tool for a lot of kids with fruits and vegetables in general, because there's a lot of odd ones out there, and kids are funny about that. Tell them, hey, try this. If you don't like it, you don't eat it. And give them a bunch of different things. Don't necessarily, this is an old sales technique I learned, but you can apply this a lot of different ways. Don't ask them, oh, do you like this? Oh, do you like this? Oh, do you like this? Expose them to a lot of different fruits and vegetables, and then ask them a question from a perspective. It's more of a giving them choices instead of giving them just yes or no, instead of do you like this, do you like this, do you like this. Once you've given them a choice of a lot of different fruits and vegetables, you can compare and you can say, okay, so out of this, this, and this, what do you like? Which one do you like the best? Which one would you like to have more of? It's psychology. I'm always talking about the psychology, and the psychology comes in even more so, I think, with kids. Now, I said kids and teens. I think we got to split this up a little bit. With the kids, you use a psychology of, I think, and I've done this with kids before, even though I have limited experience with them. It's all in how you present it to them. If you present it in this positive way, like, hey, you want to come help me in the kitchen? I'm going to make some cool whatever, or I'm going to make these, and make the food fun. Make the food fun and get them involved with it. Order these popsicle molds from Amazon. You can whip up a smoothie, or you can juice a watermelon, and you can make fun treats. It makes it fun for them. Don't make it so much this, the tone of your voice. It's like vegetables and fruit are always kind of spoken of with a severity around children. It's almost, I think a lot of kids take it as a punishment. So you have to use that psychology to make them understand and make the fruits and vegetables fun for them. With the teens, I don't have as much psychology for them, other than you can speak to them, and this is very important. I have down here, where I was just being like, don't talk to your kid. When I say don't talk to your kid like a real person. Don't be condescending. Don't be talking down to your kid. And this is especially true with teenagers. If the few that I've been around, or the few that I've played with this a little bit, I just notice they respond better when you talk to them like an adult. And you don't get dramatic, and you don't exaggerate, and you just give them well thought out reasons why behind whatever arguments you're trying to use. Teenagers, that's that difficult year. I know you're probably dealing with hell in those years, and you kind of just got to kind of play, it's warfare with them, you kind of, and when you get all sincere and in their face, teenagers don't care about anything. They don't like parents, they don't like school, they don't like anything. Half of them are like, I don't like this, I don't like that. So you have to kind of play that nonchalant. I've done that with kids before. Instead, how a kid will bounce, like what do most parents do, most adults do, every time they encounter a kid, they ask them the same things over and over. Kids get bored with that. It's like they get the standard questioning, do you like school? How is school this year? All these things. And when you can learn how to talk with kids and teenagers, that's like 75% of the battle there. I think kids like me a lot of times because I'm not like parents. I'm kind of goofy. I'm not traditional. I'm kind of like them. So they'll listen to me. But you can make it the same yourself. Just talk to them. Have dialogues with your kids like you're talking to one of your friends, and don't be so parental all the time. I mean, you're going to be parental, but you can also use different methods to get them interested in a healthy lifestyle. Okay, another thing, this is like a little bit of psychology, but maybe take them in levels as you go. Focus on getting more fruits and vegetables into their diets. However you got to do it, adding it into foods, bribing them, whatever, just get more fruits and vegetables in their bodies. The more you can get in, the more good effect that's going to have on the body, and possibly encourage them not to eat the crap. But don't focus so much and don't nag so much on the crap. I know that's hard, and maybe you start, in the beginning you just start adding in some of these fruits and vegetables, and you kind of sneak up approach on them. You don't talk about, no, you can't eat this anymore, you shouldn't eat this anymore, we don't want you to eat this anymore. In the beginning, just get them more fruits and vegetables. As they're eating more fruits and vegetables, you can slowly make compromises with them. Like, well, why don't, like if it's the worst of the worst fast food, or the worst of the worst snack treat, don't try to get them to give up all their snack treats, but try to get them to give up the worst snack treats. And just maybe little by little try to eliminate the bad stuff out of their diet and replacing it with the good, but focus on the good first. I think if you lay that groundwork, you will be a lot better off. Now the last part that I had in my notes, even though I have a few more things I want to talk about, and I don't want you parents to get upset with me. I'm not insulting you here. Us non-parents just kind of have a little bit more of the cool factor, I guess, than parents. Because, think about it. Remember when you were a kid, parents are never cool. Very seldom are they cool. And I do have a few friends that are really cool and their kids even know that they're cool. But in general, most of all, and I don't think most parents have this, you have to have cred with your kids. You know, any slang out there? You ever heard the term street cred? In other words, your credibility. Like, depending on how you talk to them, the things you tell them is going to build up your credibility with them. And if you don't have any credibility, as far as, like, if you tell them these fairy tales, like I see parents all the time just talking to their kids and like telling them why to do something, but almost giving them a fairy tale reason why to do it. Kids are smarter than you know. They can understand things. I know, you know, when you're like, it's easy for me, I'm detached, I can sit back, but I can see these things sometimes. I can see that a kid is smarter than the way his parents are talking to him. But then again, when you're a parent, you got so many things going on, you got so many responsibilities, you're juggling, you know, you're trying to spin 30 different plates in there. So I can understand how you can't cover all bases all the time. But you're not gonna help yourself when you talk to your kids like children. You're not gonna help when you condescend to them. And you know, you got to have a little swag yourself. There's got to be a little bit of a cool factor, because just like a kid will listen to a cool kid before he listens to a nerdy kid, they'll listen to a cool adult or an adult that presents things in a cool way quicker than they will listen to, you know, kind of a nerdy parenting adult that does, you know. And I love you parents, don't get me wrong. I mean, my parents were probably the typical parents, and it's just the way it is, and I know you feel like that protectiveness, and there's just the way most people do it. But if we really want to get our kids to a level, because I mean, I'm assuming all of you people that are vegan, raw vegan, or that are just trying to live a healthy lifestyle, I mean, let's say theoretically, I always wonder about this, like if you're married and kids, okay, well, let's say you followed this for the next 30 years of your life, well, then you're going to outlive the rest of your family. Your kids are going to have all kind of health problems while you're vibrant. So I'm sure you want to bring them along with you. So, you know, your kids, that's a relationship you're going to have for the rest of your life. So I think if you don't get so intense about it and look at it like, oh my God, my kid's eating horrible food, I got to change him right now, right this minute, that's going to be harder to do. But if you can kind of just slowly, you know, ingrain these habits in them, even if they don't take to the habits, the kids pay a lot of attention to what adults do, and there's a lot of awareness what goes on in the household. Even if kids don't respond, that kid could respond to something you do 15, 20 years from now. So as long as the seed gets planted, at least it's there, no matter how long it takes to germinate and eventually produce. But, you know, try to get them in, be an example. Be an example. I always say being accomplishes way more than preaching to somebody. If they see you, I mean, you know, like, ain't no kid gonna be laughing at me if it was my kid, and I'm 50. Like, I guarantee you, when I was trying to tell him a few dietary things, and he's, you don't know this. When I took him outside and ran him into the ground, when I took him to the beach and he couldn't keep up with Pops at 50, well, he's going to kind of start, you know, maybe there is something to that. You can always even throw into with all the kids, you know, like start getting them a little bit hip to this whole big pharma culture that we live in here. Ask them questions, talk to them sincerely, ask them, hey, have you ever seen Grandma and Grandpa's medicine chest? Or have you noticed how older people always seem to be taking pills after a certain point in their life? You know, give them as much as you can for their age and how much that they can understand at their age, but lay the groundwork and think of it as a process. Don't think of it as like trying to convert your kids as soon as you go, or converting them all of a sudden. Just look long term, look at the big picture, and try to be that influence and that teacher that's going to get through to them. And whether they respond right now or not, if you do that job and you lay the groundwork and you plant the seed, a lot of metaphors or those cliches there, it's gonna take. It will take somewhere down the road. It could be 20 years down the road when somebody finds this. Like I said, I think maybe I took to this lifestyle more because even though I've eaten some horrible things, I've eaten fruits and vegetables ever since I was a kid. Anyhow, I hope this might help a little bit. Talk to your kids. Get your kids healthy. You know, they're the next generation, and the earlier you can get them, the less damage they're going to have to try to heal and repair when they get a little bit older. If you like this one, give me a thumbs up. Hope you'll subscribe to the channel. If you parents, and I'm leaving it in your hands. Sometimes you don't know about a video. If you think that this is some good advice for parents dealing with kids on health issues, share this video. If you think I'm full of, well then, I could be because I don't have kids. Just wanted to throw a few helpful suggestions out there. Anyhow, thanks for joining me again this afternoon. It's been raining a lot this week, so I'm going to get outside and get a little bit of fresh air before the sun goes down. Peace.